Alright, and scale guys, next here, and welcome to the newest KH3 trailer analysis video for myself. We got a whole new bunch of gameplay content, teensy bit of lore, not too much, but I'm hyped regardless. Ready, my body is ready, my soul is ready for this KH3 trailer, or for this KH3 game, not trailer. Um, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the gameplay first because there's a lot of it, and if I start going through the lore midway, it kind of ruin the flow of gameplay. So we'll go through this beautiful gameplay video that we got. I'll go through the lore after. As I said, there's teeny weeny bit of lore. But without further ado, I'll go straight into the game. And as we start off, we have some rail grinding I'll call it. And we see Sora, he's grinding the rails in Olympus. We've seen already, nothing new with the world, but we've seen Olympus already. He's riding the rail and he attacks some Heartless in the way. Yeah, there's a few moves over the left in the controls. There's Blaster, Super Slide, and Jump. Nothing new there really. It's hits a few Heartless, keeps going. Maybe these rail grinds, we've seen them Dream Drop Distance and stuff. Maybe they're in all the worlds. Who knows? Maybe it's a way of getting around. Not too important. I wouldn't consider it a big major announcement. It's just part of the videos and it's the very first thing, so I kind of had to talk about it. Next is though sort of important. Next is he's using the shotlock command, but not in the usual way. He changes it up a bit. He goes from shotlock to use it to these floating bricks that are in the air. And what he uses is he uses the shotlock. He hits all these bricks. He jumps at them, and then eventually he keeps jumping from brick to brick, and all of a sudden he's up there at the top level beside a save point. It seems to be a new way of traversing the map at certain areas. Instead of it's no grind rail, but like it is the shotlock command he's getting around with. Maybe it's just for story progression, story moving that way. I don't know if it would be hidden areas that you can use shotlock command. Maybe not, because honestly, if that is the case, I'd be using I'd have shotlock command on constantly. I'd have my finger on, like, I think it's R1. Just be looking around, like trying to find where can I use shotlock command. Where does this aim to? I'm just waiting for this little click where it starts aiming, like that thing. I can't do the noise properly. But it is a new way to use shotlock, which is nice. And when you see the focus bar, it doesn't waste it. It goes down, and then it realizes, oh wait, he's jumping the bricks. Puts his focus back up. So it's a new way to use shotlock. Right after that, we're back in Twilight Town, in front of the mansion, where we seen Ansem and Xehanort in the last, or Ansem and Xemnas, not Xehanort. That's the difference. Ansem and Xemnas right in front of Twilight Mansion. That was in the last trailer. In this trailer, we're fighting some Heartless and Nobodies at the same time. Seems like they've kind of joined forces a bit. As I said, Ansem and Xehanort, or Xehanort, Ansem and Xemnas. What is wrong with me? We see they're kind of joined forces together. It doesn't look like they're attacking each other, so maybe they're together. Maybe they're fighting against you now. I think that might be the case. That's my theory on it. I think they've joined forces. Now you have to fight both of them, and they're ready. They're coming at you with everything they've got, just to try to rid you as soon as they can. Um, well, what we do get to see anyway in this sort of fight is we get to see Sora with the new Starkeeper Keyblade. Now it's the same as Starseeker, not Starkeeper. It's the same as the rest of them from the other games. It's the same look. What the only thing is, it has its own new form, as in the other videos we've seen. Each Keyblade now has their own form. Um, it's indicative of what Keyblade you're using, which is good because it changes up which Keyblade you use for each fight. So I'd love to see what the ultimate Keyblade form will be. But regardless of that, each Keyblade is not just about, oh, this has better magic, this has better strength. You have to be situational about what sort of finish command, or what's the best finish combo type thing you want, type of form. This form that we get with the Star Seeker is double arrow guns. This is, it actually looks pretty good. We've seen them before. It's the two little like sort of handguns that he gets in both hands. It's sort of shoots like the wisdom form at the start. What's actually really interesting to know is each arrow, as it says, arrow gun, it shoots arrows. Each arrow has it's an arrow with a little heart at the back of it, which it looks like the Kingdom Hearts hearts. Nice touch, not really fancy. It's just a nice touch I noticed. It sort of shoots like wisdom form from KH2, like a long stream. And then the combo is, you actually see it change color. It actually looks like Ragnarok. It changes into like a big cluster, like the Ragnarok type move from KH1 and KH2 where it shoots out a bunch of projectiles and they track enemies. Sort of the same. It is pretty much the same. But then we go from the double arrow guns to magic launcher. Now this is sort of like, I think each keyblade is going to have like a form which is going to have two parts to it. As you'll see later on in the video, that will kind of like prove it. But we have double arrow gun which goes onto magic launcher, and the magic launcher is just the two guns combined. He smacks them around a bit. We don't get to see it much use. We get to see its finishing move though, which is, it didn't give a name. It's just a big huge thing shoots out the top of it and it explodes midair and does a good bit of damage. That's all we get to see from that form. Not too much, but I'm not complaining. It's something to see. Anyway, from that we move back onto Olympus. Now this isn't too much of a big point, but actually the thing I like to notice is we see a huge Heartless, and usually big Heartless means, oh, this must be a boss fight or something. This Heartless isn't a boss. If you look at its HP up the top right, this has very small HP, meaning that Heartless are getting bigger. They're getting bigger and badder, and they are appearing randomly in the world. And you see, he's by himself, so maybe these things only appear by themselves. But it's very big, meaning that maybe Heartless and the Nobodies are getting bigger, and bigger things are going to spawn. And no longer is going to be the big bodies that are going to be the biggest things you come up against. Like, this thing is huge. This is like 3 times the size of Sora, and twice me, 3 times as ugly as well. I mean, it smacks around the place and it does some serious damage as it looks. First time Sora lands in Toy Story. Now, this isn't really lore, but it's interesting to see the new form, or like not form, but the new way they look when they jump into the world. They look like a toy, sort of like Atlanta in KH1, where I'm not counting KH2. Do not talk to me about Atlanta in KH2. But in KH1, where they turn into Donald used magic to turn them into the octopus, the turtle, and the merman. This is sort of the same thing. So it's sort of like the Lion King as well, where he turned into a lion and stuff. It's the same thing in Toy Story. He turns into a toy, meaning that he's with the toys instead of with Andy and stuff, which makes more sense as well. When we go in straight away, we see the Heartless. But what's really nice to see is that it goes from cutscene and transitions so smoothly into a fight. No more of this blank screen and then the popping up saying defeat the Heartless and the screen goes, or the camera goes a few places like dynamically. This smoothly just goes into it really smoothly, which is nice to see. You just go in, smooths in and smack around. And we get to see him then straight after that attack the Heartless. There's new Heartless as well. They have like little toy guns. They look at. You're in Andy's room. You get to attack these Heartless, and then he does a few moves. We also get to see the new Keyblade that he's wielding, which is, well, I don't know the name of it, but it's the Keyblade for Toy Story. It's a cactus with a sheriff's hat and like a sheriff's badge at the top, and it has Buzz Lightyear's sort of thing at the bottom, and it has an alien as the keychain, one of the aliens from Toy Story. Talk about its actions and like more about it after, because it showcased a lot in this. People might be saying as well, like, why does he have it already? He's just landed in Toy Story's land. I don't name land as Toy Story, but it's just to showcase it. Just like in Olympus, he had the Olympus Coliseum blade. It's just to showcase the blades. After that, he starts talking to Woody and Buzz and stuff. It's about the lore, so I'm going to skip it for now and go back to it. From there, we end up on top of the roof outside, which means that we're actually expanding just from Andy's room out into the open world. Well, not open world, out into the world. And it's actually really good to know. You'll see here, party members have increased. Praise the Lord. You see all the guys in one group. No longer is it. No longer is it like switching out party members, having people leaving behind. Like, will I take Donald? No, Donald is useless. He never heals me. I'll leave him back behind. It's, should we take these guys out? It's just everyone come out and fight. It makes more sense. But I if you see on the right there, you see Donald, Sora, and Goofy are all like their little corner, and above is like Buzz and Woody. Meaning most likely it's gonna mean that you can't change the abilities of like Buzz and Woody. Um, Maybe I'm pretty sure that's gonna be what it's like. They're not really in your party, but they're with you, if you get me. It looks like you'll never have to split the trio up again. They all together. It makes more sense to me that they're all together. Like, I know in the other games maybe it make it too easy if you got everyone out, but it makes more sense just having everyone you have out. It's also good to know if that's the case for all the worlds as well. We could have a big like thing We have like an 8-man squad rolling around, like maybe in Hollow Bastion, 8-man squad like Cloud, Luffy, Cloud, Leon, Yuffie, Aerith, Sid. Maybe Sid jumps out of every now and again, comes out and attack Merlin. It'd be real fun to use. Imagine the cage too if we did that with the 1,000 Heartless, where everyone was just out attacking everything. It would have been a really fun idea. But it's actually interesting. It'd be interesting to see what happens from there. We also get to see these new dive type modes. I don't know. Would you call it? I think I'd call it like a dive move. If you're up at a high area and you have a free fall, if you're high enough, you can actually gather speed and slam into the ground. Now we seen this in the last trailer with Olympus when we seen Zora at the very start dive and hit the ground. People were saying maybe that's just from a cutscene, like oh, he's just come from a cutscene and that's him diving into the ground. It seems like it's a mechanic in the game that when you're up at a high area and you jump into the ground, you smash. You can smash like Hulk or something. You can just come down and Titan smash. Um, Meaning because they made such a big deal, or not big deal, because they made it a mechanic of the game, that means it's going to be used a lot more than just the once or twice. It means it's going to be something you use a lot, which means the maps might just vary now and again, where it's really high at some points, low, vary in the size of the maps. Like two areas could be high and you're running through the middle and you get up higher. It just makes the maps more creative. You can make like you jumped off a house there, you can smack into the ground. It's more creative. It makes more sense to do it that way. I'm excited for it anyway. I don't know how. Maybe you can get combo moves for it because at the moment he just hits the ground with a keyblade and smacks into it. Maybe eventually you can get combos for it, but regardless, it's a good mechanic they brought into the game. So now you can you can Titan Smash or Titan Panic from midair into the ground. After that, we get to see his new keyblade form, which is Hyper Hammer. It's like a rocket comes on top of it, and it's a big, huge hammer, and he smacks around the place. Really neat. The way he hits the ground, you see, it actually looks really smooth. It's makes the cracks look actually realistic somehow. It looks realistic, even though you know it's like you haven't done that because it disappears after a few seconds. But it's really smooth. Hyper Hammer, he transitions into Drill Punch. As I said, it seems to be like the Keyblades have their own form, and then in this form they have like two things they have each. So it goes from Hyper Hammer to Drill Punch, just like the Star Seeker went from Double Arrow Gun to the Modular Launcher. Drill Punch looks like it's a real cool type of move. He actually dives into the ground and comes back out. Now there is one point where he actually dives under the ground and comes back out and doesn't like use a move or anything. But it'd be really nice to see if you could actually just glide underneath the ground as much as you want, like some sort of like Gibble Pokemon, where you can just keep going across the ground and just drill around. Or if you're trying to dodge something, hide underneath the ground for a while. Why not? It'd be actually really nice and fun to use if they actually allow that. But we didn't get to see him underground for too long. It seems like he goes in and back under, like or in and out really quickly. But it's a really nice looking form, sort of like the Olympus one we got to see where he had a shield and he was smacking around. What we didn't get to see in this one was the shot lock command with the drill punch or with the hyper hammer, which we did get to see in the last trailer where he used the Olympus. He was using the counter shield, and when he used shot lock command, it shot like a big ball up into the air onto a shield and like sprayed rain everywhere. That was the shot lock command for that one. We didn't get to see a shot lock command for this one or for the Star Seeker. Moving on from that, we get to see the new Eroga. We've seen it before, but we never actually seen what happens when he uses it. When he uses it, he seems to jump into it, pushes him up, and he dies away. Meaning Eroga is sort of like the Blizzaga move, where you shoot the Blizzaga, you can follow with an ice trail. Eroga seems to shoot you up and push you across. Another nice mechanic in the game, makes magic more variable. You can use it for different situations. Well, the Eroga one, I don't know what you use it for. Maybe getting up to higher places, dodging things, jumping out of the way. Shoot the Eroga out, dive into it, push yourself up. Nice touch, nice thing to add to the game. Um, Sort of like the Blizzaga. Not going to complain. It's a nice touch. After that, we get to use the drill for a bit longer, and then he uses the finish move forward drill punch, which is, do you know the claw machine that was in Toy Story? We all know it when he picks up the aliens and stuff. That seems to spiral or shoot out of the Keyblade, and he picks up a big body. Now I don't know if if he just picks up a random Heartless, but he picks up a big body and smacks it around the place as if it's like a little whipping doll, like some sort of like Hulk type he's like Hulk swinging around, low key, smacking him into the ground and stuff like that. It's pretty funny to see, and that's the finish move anyway for Drill Punch. Moving on from that, we go into the Galaxy Store, which is from the lore, which I'll explain later, and we get to see this is a good image as well for seeing the party members all together. It's like the boys rolling in, ready to fight. Look at the army just waiting for you. It's the lads coming in. We see all five of them together. A few new Heartless again, and we get to see the new big robots. Now these are, I presume, Toy Story exclusives. They'll only be in the Toy Story universe. Um, they're big, cute robots like Gundams or something like that. Japan loves their mechas, so that's probably why they brought it into it. But they have the red, the blue, and the purple. They have red, which has they all have the same sort of moves like punch, shoot, and stuff like that. But they all have like a special move at the top, where they have where the red one has tackle, the blue one has explosive, and the red one or purple one has cannon. The tackle one you get to see he just kind of like dives into him. And the explosive one, he jumps in the air with the blue guy and shoots it out from like his shoulder sort of thing. And the purple one is the best one, I think. It's like a double barrel dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh or something. He literally pops them down, shoots, and bang, everything in his way gets destroyed. Um, that's pretty much it from the gameplay. We also get to see he destroys a tower in the back, which isn't a big point, but that's pretty much it from the gameplay side of things. That moves on to he actually sees young Xehanort. I'll move on to the lore now. What happens is when they land into Toy Story, you fight the Heartless. Straight after, you talk to Woody, Buzz, and the boys. I can't remember their names, like the pig guy and the T-Rex and stuff. Um, you talk to them, and apparently the Heartless just appeared all of a sudden. They don't know why, and apparently once the Heartless appeared, some of their friends disappeared. And Sora questions them and asks them when did they arrive, and is there any clues about when they arrived? And they all look at each other and they realise, oh wait, there was a guy in a black cloak. And what's the black cloak mean? Oh, Organisation 13. So apparently Organisation 13 are after bringing these Heartless to this world, and they're taking friends like Heartless do. And Woody asks you to help him, or Sora says leave it to us, and then Woody goes, no, this is our problem as well. And Sora meddles in the world again like he usually does in Sora fashion. And that's basically why you go to the Galaxy Store, because Woody asks like a little army man, one of the army men, the green guys. He asks them where they are, and he says the Galaxy Store. So that's why your trip outside the window to get to the Galaxy Store. And now once you get to the Galaxy Store, you beat all those Heartless, there is a young Xehanort cryptic message. And take this with a pinch of salt, or grain of salt. This is my theory. He says one heart's shadows fill the emptiness of another. How they bring him to life. Now, the first thought I had of this was that he's talking about Vanitas. Because you remember back to Birth by Sleep, when Xehanort went to Ventus, took out his darkness and placed it and that turned into Vanitas. That was Ventus' shadow darkness. If you think about it, that was his darkness. He took that out, meaning the shadow filled the emptiness of another. Vanitas was empty. He has a shadow, and now he's a new darkness. Now you might be thinking, "Oh, that's a bit far fetched," but then when you actually read it on, it says there is a darkness we are missing and must reclaim. Now that must mean because Vanitas disappeared. Well, we seen him get defeated by Ventus, and the whole Kingdom Hearts or Keyblades blew up the key, like the actual Keyblade. It's hard to say. I know they named it the same thing. I don't know why. It's like the X Blade. I call it that, the X Blade. They after that we seen both get blown away. So now I'm thinking Vanitas is coming back, boys. I think he's back. Coming back. They're looking for a way to get him back using the darkness of Ventus again. Because they say they're looking through the way hearts connect in this world can provide a clue. That means the world in Toy Story, I think, is the way hearts connect. They're trying to get a clue from that. That's what I read from it. I don't know specifically what he's talking about there. What I do know is, in my head, Vanitas is coming back. They're talking about filling a shadow, filling someone empty with the shadows of another person. That makes someone like whole. and they're looking for a darkness that they must reclaim. So that means that it's someone who's already on the dark side and they're trying to get them back. Only person I can think of is Vanitas. It's not saying like they're trying to turn someone into a vessel. It means they already had someone as a vessel and they're trying to get him back. Now, Vanitas is the only guy I can think of like that because we know Riku is immune to darkness now. So it can't be him. He was like the only guy who was like a vessel already and came back. So Vanitas is the only choice I can think of. That is it pretty much from the trailer, except for the last message, which everyone's excited for, which is coming 2018. Yes, we have a release date. No, release year. Yes, we have a release year, which is next year. People are speculating it'll probably be in March next year because the gameplay looks pretty well done. It looks like it's pretty much finished. I don't know with with Kingdom Hearts and stuff. I usually say it'd probably come out like September sometime. Um, give them the holiday to buy the game. I don't think some before summer is never usually a great time to buy or sell your game and stuff like that. It's usually before Christmas when you do it. I'd love if it was March, obviously, but I think it's gonna be September sometime next year. But regardless of that, that is it from the trailer from D23, and that is it from me. If you agree with what I was talking about, like Vanitas and stuff, or if you disagree, tell me what you think who it is. Give me your theories. Shoot it down in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them and see. I won't say you're wrong or anything. Obviously, everyone's theories are theories. But tell me what you think, and if you want to see more content, subscribe to my channel. It's not just KH, it's a few other stuff. And if you like the video, like it. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.